So Order is going full on technology, right? Like they've integrated with, microchips and all this technology that's augmenting their bodies. They've kind of left their humanity and they're moving more towards the singularity. Chaos, what we're thinking is they're going to be more kind of nature based, right? They're going to go into nature. They're going to try and adapt with nature and have more of kind of a natural approach to it. What's up, guys?
Is that how you pronounce it, by the way?
Yeah. Cosmo's kid. It's kind of weird because up until Pendulum, I didn't go by Cosmo. I just kind of created the persona for this project, and it's kind of stuck, and I really like it. But
I do like it too. That's a
thanks.
Good name.
It's short and simple. My name is Mike, by the way.
Mike.
If you guys want to use that, that's fine too. But yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome, man. I'm excited about. I'm excited about a lot of things. Nice to meet you. Excited about talking about one of the coolest looking CNFT projects I've seen in a long time.
Thanks so much.
And just I guess that's what we'll spend most of our time on. But yeah, anytime I'm talking about CNFTs with cool people, like that's a great way to spend a Friday afternoon. You're in the States, right? We had that conversation. You're a little bit further west than I am, but
I'm in Colorado, and you're in Indiana.
Yep.
Indiana.
Yeah. People,
nice.
The first thing people usually say when I tell them I'm in Indiana, they always say, "Why?" Why?
If you don't live in the Midwest, you don't really know. It's wonderful. I mean, I wouldn't really consider Colorado the Midwest. I don't think technically it is, but this is similar vibe, right? Everybody's pretty friendly.
Yeah.
It's beautiful weather, beautiful, nature, lots of great stuff. So,
but I am jealous of your landscape though. Like it's not as flat as here. Because I used to be really into trail running and there's so many great places to run over there in Colorado. Yeah. Anyway, we're not here to talk about trail running.
Okay. I could go on trail running. Well, hiking. We don't do much trail running, but we do lots of hiking.
It's kind of the same thing. Yeah. So thanks again for being on. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself other than like we know your name and where you live and what you're like, we know a little bit about your project, but what can you tell us about like how you got here? That's the classic first question. Like, who are you and how did you get here?
How did I get here? That's a good question. It's been a long journey. I think I grew up, I'm an only child. And so, I don't have any siblings. So I grew up just drawing a ton. My mom is really creative. She's a sculptor. She did like doll shows. She does sculptures of dolls and they're kind of like centerpieces. And she gets into a bunch of different stuff like photography and things as well. But so I grew up around that and I've just always been creative. I've always loved kind of taking things apart and seeing how they work. That's a big passion of mine just with art and with drawing and creating is just figuring out different ways to put things together and trying to understand, how light works. Like there's just so much that goes into creating things. And that's what I really enjoy doing. So, so growing up, I drew a ton. Then in, I guess like middle school, we got a computer. I'm kind of an old guy. I was born in 87. So internet didn't come around until I was, like
you just called me old too. I was born the same year.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah. So we remember a time before the internet, you had to go to a freaking library to learn things.
Yeah.
Which nobody does that anymore, right?
That fun dial-up sound and when we got internet. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, dial up and the whole internet race, right? Like who got cable internet first and how fast were your download speeds? Now it's just like crazy, symmetrical fiber and all kinds of crazy stuff. But anyway,
better
we got
worse.
a computer. What's that?
I said for better or worse.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, anyways, we got a computer when I was 12 or 13, and I was just obsessed, because it was this virtual environment. You could do anything you want with it. There's Photoshop, um, and that's in the days of like Napster and Kazaa, those like file sharing platforms where you could pretty much get whatever you want.
LimeWire, yeah.
LimeWire, yeah, which is pretty fun. So I just started messing around with computers a lot, and kind of got into code a little bit. And so there was an event that happened for me. I went to Disney World around that time with my parents, and I got to see the studios where all the artists were in. And in those days, things were still mostly hand drawn. I think like computer generated art and everything was kind of starting to pick up a little bit, but I got to see just rows of artists, and they're just drawing the same picture over and over and over again. And I was like, I don't want that to be my life. I love drawing, but I don't want to be in this position where I'm just drawing the same thing over and over again. So at that point, I think, crushed my own dreams a little bit, because I think deep down, I always wanted to be just an artist. I just wanted to do art and make things. But I just didn't really foresee being able to support myself and my family doing that. So I got more into kind of like web design and web development. I actually went to school for that. I went to the Art Institute of Colorado and got a bachelor's in, interactive media design, I think is what it's called. And halfway through my schooling, I started working at a studio in Denver. We did mostly like restaurant websites and kind of smaller business type websites and things, branding, all kinds of different stuff. And in those days, like a web designer was expected to both write code and design things out, which I absolutely loved, because code is just another form of creation, in my opinion. Where you're not creating things necessarily visually, but you're coming up with solutions by writing code, and that's incredibly creative, which is something I think a lot of people don't really understand.
Yeah, that is true.
When they see a developer, they're like, oh yeah, they're just left brains, they're super into math, and honestly, most of the developers I know are incredibly creative. They have to consider so many different things when you're building software and websites and all that good stuff. So yeah. So anyways, I went down that road for a long time. I was doing full-on development for about 10 years, both design and development, and then kind of doing illustration on the side. There'd be fun projects that would come in every now and then, like doing icon work or like a splash page illustration or something like that. But it never really, that type of work never really got you paid. Web developers made way more money than designers, so I was like, I'm going to stick with that, for a while until recently, I think it's kind of changed, and design and art and everything is starting to get a little bit more valued, which I think is great. And I think partly, people like you have a influence on that, which is really cool. So yeah, I did that for a long time. Man, I've done everything under the sun when it's come to, design and development. I've been an intern all the way up to like, very senior level developer and designer. The last place I worked at was actually with King Dave from Derp Birds.
Really?
I was a senior product designer at this insurance software company, which sounds so fun, right? But what I really liked about that was the problems were super complex. We were trying to build interfaces for insurance companies to be able to understand, like, when, Hurricane Katrina happens, how is that going to affect, hundreds of thousands of portfolios of, contracts and whatnot. So I had to come up with, an interface designs to be able to digest all that information and then be able to make sense of it and create reports from it, all that good stuff. But while I was there, I felt zero creativity. I was designing out all these solutions. It it was all very technical, which part of me really liked that, but I like the creative part of me was just dying inside, honestly. And it wasn't until 2021, around Christmas time, my boy got sick, and so we couldn't really do anything. We were just kind of stuck inside at home, and he was really into Sonic at that point. And so what we would do is I would draw, you know, all the Sonic characters he liked, and I would just do the line work and then give it to him, and then he would, you know, color it in. And man, cool. I had such a blast doing that. It kind of just lit that spark inside me again. It's like, this is what work should feel like. It shouldn't feel like work, you know?
Yeah.
You should be doing what feels fun. Like, our lives should be so joyful. And
that's what I'm doing right now.
For the most part. I know, man. I love it. Like, I was just reading your about. Like, I really hope that you can get to that place. And if there's anything I can share with you that helps with that, I would love to.
Appreciate that.
But it's, yeah, for sure. It's a tough thing though, you know, because unfortunately money's a thing and you got to pay the bills, especially when you got kids, you know, you can't be completely irresponsible. So, I guess that's kind of the beginning of this. So I quit my job. I actually did ketamine therapy for 5 months where, I don't know have you heard of what ketamine is?
No. Okay. It rings a bell, but please explain. For sure.
So ketamine is actually used as an anesthesia. It's used for anesthesia.
Okay.
Like when you're going to go into surgery, you know, it kind of it calms you down. It puts you in a place where, you know, everything is super mellow, and it's actually a kind of a mild hallucinogenic. And so what they do with that in therapy is you can take ketamine and be able to have these experiences where you're able to really observe and kind of reflect upon yourself without being attached to kind of the day-to-day, this is who I am. And man, that was completely, it was completely life-changing. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
You definitely need to make sure you know what you're doing, because, you know, working with hallucinogens, the mindset and setting are very important. Like if you have a poor mindset and the setting is very chaotic, you're going to have a bad trip. But the cool thing of what ketamine does and other hallucinogenics is it kind of, it puts your brain in a neuroplasticity type of mode to where you can essentially rewire your brain permanently, you know? So you can observe past traumas, work through them, and then
that's so interesting to me, man.
And then afterwards be able to like completely you know, digest that and then integrate it, and it's permanent as long as you keep it up. So they're finding ketamine and all these hallucinogenics are. Is
this similar to what is it called, ayahuasca, or, you know, is it like, does it have a similar purpose?
Yep. Ayahuasca is way more intense though, because with ayahuasca, there's what they call the purge.
So
the first hour or so, just everything's coming out from this end and this end. You're literally expelling all these toxins that are in your body. And then afterwards, you just have this insane trip because the active, you know, ingredients in ayahuasca is essentially DMT. It's a couple different things that create DMT, and DMT is like the god molecule, you know, it's what your brain creates when you're sleeping to actually dream and also, you know, repair your body cells, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for going so deep on this stuff.
No, this is super interesting.
So hard. Okay.
Guys, we'll get into Pendulum soon, but I can't pass up on, you know, interesting conversation, and, you know, so
this is all
no need to apologize,
I guess. Go
ahead, man.
Like I just had to do a lot of, I think, deep inner work to get back to the place where I felt like, you know, when I was creating, I was really enjoying it, and what I was creating felt really authentic. And so, after doing the ketamine, I just did freelance illustration for a while. I have a buddy I used to run a studio with. His name is Alexander Diner. He has a studio called Shape Maker, and they do, you know, branding and incredible work. So I got to do some fun projects with him, doing some illustrations for like internet startup companies and whatever. But anyways, so September, Dave from Derp Birds hits me up, and he tells me about NFTs. Like I had no idea what they
Because
were,
you
and
work
so
together, or is that
well, so they got into it with Derp Birds. You know, they did that
Mhm.
within like a month or so. It was just insane, and that's when Cardano was just blowing up, and
Mhm.
I guess all of crypto really,
So
NFTs and
September
everything.
maybe last year?
Yeah, around September. And he was just telling me about it, and he was like, "Dude, you should get in on this," you know. And so that kind of started what is now our partnership type of collaboration, to where
Okay.
him and I kind of came up with the concept for Pendulum, and it took me a while just to get into a place where I could just draw daily, and it took a while too just to figure out the art style, because the designer part of me wanted to do something like very functional. Like most NFTs I see are done in vector, right? Which is kind of
Mhm.
like the Derp Bird style. It's
Mhm.
very flat. Vector is scalable because it's all mathematic. It's not raster. It's not just
Yep.
pixels. You can
Yeah.
scale it to any size you want. And so, but I just couldn't get into it. Like the art I was doing in vector, I didn't like. There's like probably a month or two where I just was spinning my wheels, and I was pretty discouraged. Um, and eventually, I just got to a place where I was just trying to draw for fun. I did a portrait, which is now the female order character, and I think that kind of just really inspired me, because I just really enjoyed that.
Okay.
And even then, I knew that this style, like I'd never done before, but it really, I don't know, it was just a lot of fun. And I liked that feeling, and I wanted to focus just on that feeling. And so I just kept doing that. And I knew it wasn't going to be practical, because it was taking me like,
Yeah.
5 to 10 hours to do like one attribute.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas, now I've gone through this whole process. It takes me 30 minutes or so, depending on the
Okay.
piece. But yeah, so that's kind of the, I guess, long long story of how I've got to Pendulum.
No, I mean that is, to me at least, that is the most interesting part. So I'm glad we spent some time on that.
Cool.
So are you creating this in Photoshop or some other program? How do you actually create it for the creators in the chat? And shout out to, I
Yeah.
saw yeah, Woodlords was here, and I saw Max from Universe 25. Yeah, so we have some creators in here. So how do you
Cool.
create these?
I'll Procreate, honestly.
Procreate. Okay.
And actually, I have a Cintiq here. Like a Cintiq Pro, which those things are stupid expensive. They're really nice, but what I was noticing, like creating in Photoshop, is first of all, there's a lag. There's a little bit of a lag when you're
Hmm.
drawing, and that drives me nuts. Like
Yeah,
having a little bit of a
can see that.
delay from when I'm actually, painting a stroke or a line, whatever. It just drove me nuts. And so on the iPad, the refresh rate of the screen is so high that you don't really experience that lag. So it feels much
Mm,
more natural.
I see.
And and for me at least, and I think a lot of the other creatives could probably relate, environment, like where I am when I create, has
Mm,
a huge impact on how I create. And so being able to be much more mobile with the iPad, that was huge for me, because I would, if I wanted to, I could go to Starbucks and work there all day, or I could really go wherever I want. And with the Cintiq, I have to be kind of stuck here in this basement.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so
I can see
um,
that. Makes
yeah,
sense to
so
me.
so so I do everything in Procreate, and then as far as like outputting the assets, I do that from Photoshop. So I'll just airdrop, or I'll sync my files to iCloud and then pull them in on Photoshop, and then chop up all the assets, in that way. And then what I was doing is I was using layer comps. This might be getting too technical, so I'm sorry if this is too technical, but I use layer comps to create out all the different versions for each asset, right? Because each asset is going to have multiple colors.
Hmm.
And rather than saving those all out by hand with layer comps, you can automate that process. So
Hmm.
you can go to, like file, export layer comps as files, and then it'll just go through all your layer comps automatically and save them out,
No,
which
yeah. That is interesting because I obviously wanted to ask you about the collection itself, like the traits and variety. So maybe we should just kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
And
so a funny thing happened on Monday is, so we were supposed to drop yesterday on Wednesday.
mhm,
Well, 2 days, sorry, 2 days ago, Wednesday.
yeah,
But unfortunately, the cornucopia drop didn't go great, and we're
hmm
using the Derp technology, and so they kind of pushed us back a little bit, which is, it's fine. It happens. I'm in software. This is completely normal in
yeah.
software, and I'm so grateful. The community has been amazing. Everybody's super understanding. Everybody just wants a good minting experience. That's all I want. I just want to make cool art and hopefully have everybody enjoy it. So, um,
And
but
honestly,
anyways,
just from my perspective, like if somebody is super pissed off and is like, "Oh, f this," then I don't want to buy
I don't
this
know.
anymore because I wanted it yesterday. Then okay, then you should probably leave because you might not be the right person for this community. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting thing to kind of watch that happen and see almost these natural filters take place to where,
Mm,
if you're not down with what's going on, and we're just being authentic, like being completely transparent, just trying to do what's right. If you're not okay with that, then that's okay. There's other projects. There's plenty of NFTs you can go mint, and maybe this one's not right for you, um, but anyway, so we were supposed to drop on Wednesday, and so Monday I was reviewing all the art. I was having a great day. I've been waiting for that moment forever, just being able to look at the wall of all the art, and
yeah.
just like uh, one of your other guys, I forget the somebody else was saying that they became kind of a consumer. One of the other artists that you Jarheads. That's what it was.
Oh,
I was listening
jarheads.
to
Yeah.
Jar.
hmm
Yeah,
hmm
I was listening to Jarheads this morning, which was a great interview, by the way. Um,
Yeah, I enjoyed
he
it.
was, yeah, he was talking about how it was cool that he kind of became a consumer of his own art because there's all these randomly generated images that he didn't create, or I didn't create, and we get to kind of see all these cool like combinations and stuff. So on Monday, I was so stoked to be going through all those and selecting the final ones, because I want to make sure all of them just looked really, really amazing. And it turns out the resolution for all of them was wrong. And this automated process I use with Photoshop, it works great, but there's a file limit for PNGs, which I didn't know about. And so all the art, instead of being at 300 DPI or pixels
hmm
per inch,
hmm
was all at 72. So these images were
Oh,
super tiny. So Monday I spent all day up until midnight going through every single
jeez.
file and saving out every asset. There was like 841 assets I had to save out by hand. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna introduce some like errors, because I'm doing this all by hand. Um,
Mm.
but thankfully, since then we've had enough time. Everything is great, and I sent all the art off to the Derp team, and
Yeah.
everything is good. But it was just, I don't know, it was just kind of a sad moment because I was so excited to look through everything and pick out all the art, and then I had to kind of step back and resave everything out. But
That is
the
a
cool
bummer.
part in that, yeah, but the cool part in that process is I was able to kind of fix a couple things I didn't really like. There's some colors and gradient maps I didn't really love. So ultimately kind of helped the project, I think, be a little bit more polished.
Yeah, what I find is, if you have the right approach and the right mindset, which I think you have, and I want to just say that that I'm not just excited about the project because of the art. Like that is definitely that drew me in, but then just kind of interacting with you in Discord, seeing the community, and like just how you are marketing the project, just your approach with everything. Like that's also something that I'm impressed with, and why I'm excited about the project, because I feel
Yeah.
like you have the right mindset, right approach, and when you have that, I feel like things always just kind of work themselves out one way or another.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think kind of what you're hitting on is just authenticity. And I guess what I've seen a lot in the space is, I'm not trying to like bag on anybody or say anything negative, but I see a lot of projects that kind of are just like copy pasted,
Yeah.
and to me those projects, they just feel like they don't have any soul, like what I love about NFTs is being able to see these interesting perspectives of like Jarheads. I mean, I love the
Yeah.
art, like completely different, and what it's doing is it's kind of exposing a different audience to that type of realm of art. You know, it
Hmm.
almost reminds me of like the Bauhaus movement in Germany, where typically design and art was reserved for the aristocrats, right? Like the
Hmm.
high end, you know, people that are just super rich. And the Bauhaus movement was like, nah, let's bring that to the people, you know. And I feel like NFTs are almost doing that in a
Exactly.
way where it's like
Exactly.
it feels kind of like a revolution, and I feel like just even being part of that feels amazing too. So yeah, so it was just really important to me to feel like what I was putting out was authentic and was true to just what I really enjoyed. And so, yeah, so
That's
hopefully we
yeah, that's
kind of read that
that's
way.
I really kind of relate to that. And that's why I have, I've always been interested in the art side of the space. I know it's a minority, maybe like 5 to 10% of us are mostly in for the art. And that's okay,
Yeah.
and even the other 10%, we want to, you know, gain financially as well. If you're against making profit, there's probably something wrong with you.
Yeah.
But this is why, I have the art beat in my newsletter. Like, I always want to keep that in mind and try to have art, have a discussion about art in the CNFT space. And I love finding projects that are able to brilliantly, perfectly kind of combine art and the NFT space, and like find that balance of providing good quality art while getting just the average NFT investor consumer excited about it, And I feel like that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I mean, I completely agree. And I think another amazing part of the NFT community is the community itself, you know, just being in Discord. Like
Yeah.
that's been incredible. Like I've already met friends I feel like I'm gonna be close with for the rest of my life, you know, and up until this point, like I would say in the design realm, you know, everything is very kind of tight knit. There's very small communities, and typically it's pretty isolating because in design there's so much I guess technical practice that kind of goes into it. Like you need to really understand typography and white spacing, and you know,
Hmm.
there's all these principles of design that you can use as a criteria to judge whether or not a designer is good or not. Whereas in
Hmm.
the NFT space and art, it's just expression, and it's so beautiful because like Jarheads, you know, objectively you could say, you know, that face doesn't really look like a face, but you know, it's art, right? Like it doesn't need to look like a face. That's his interpretation, that's his expression, and I think it's
Hmm.
wonderful, and that's the type of stuff that I really want to see, and I think that's where NFTs can really kind of separate themselves from like just the typical design world, or you know,
Yeah.
commercial illustration world. Like when I see illustrations in the mainstream now, it's all these weird proportioned people with tiny heads, right, and like huge arms,
Yeah,
and
I
they
know.
got like wavy hair, you know, like look at Uber or any of the, you know,
Hmm.
big applications right now, and just I don't know, it doesn't really feel authentic, you know. I don't know.
It's all the same. Like it's like they found a formula that appeals to the masses, and it's just like copy paste, copy paste.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trend, and it's a trend I think just to be able to, from a company's perspective at least, just kind of save money, right? Like we'll find
Hmm.
an artist that's good at this trend, we'll hire
Hmm.
them, they'll do some art, and then we'll send them on their way.
Yeah. Yeah, because hiring somebody for true innovation and something groundbreaking is expensive and risky, and something that companies want to avoid.
Right, because you actually have to invest in the person, right? Because you have to
Yes.
invest in what they know and what they bring to the table, not just what they're able to produce. And I
And
think I
that's
just kind of got tired of that, honestly. Like being
yeah.
in the design industry is just being looked at as like a commodity, and honestly, because of my skill set, I didn't really fit in anywhere, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I wanted to do animation, I wanted to build with code, you know, like, and then they just want to like put you in one role, and it just didn't feel right. So.
And that's why I love having this conversation, man. Like I get like Yeah, it's great to, get more kind of confidence in the project, if I'm spending a lot of ADA on it, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it just makes it more enjoyable to buy the NFT. Like if I know the person, I'm investing in the creator. So I'm not just investing in this JPEG. I'm investing in an actual person, actual artist, and that just for me personally, it makes it more enjoyable when I buy the NFT. So that's definitely a part of the reason why I love getting to know creators on the stream.
Yeah, oh for sure. I completely agree. Like it makes me think of Earth natives. They're doing some
Mm-hmm.
incredible humanitarian type of things with NFTs, and it's really cool to see what people come up with um, NFTs. Because essentially the power is in the hands of the artist and the developer. Like you don't
Yeah.
need a whole lot to be able to do something, and so that frees it up and allows it to be much more accessible to way more people without having the corporate kind of agenda being placed on top of it. Where King Dave knows this super well. Like when you're building software, the designers typically get the last say. We're just kind of the producers, whereas like the executives are making all the decisions and they don't know
Mm-hmm.
anything about design or a good
Yeah.
user experience. And it's just
So much
I
more
just got really
political.
tired.
And
Oh, very very
yeah.
political. And yeah, not a fan.
Well, I mean, we're all in the space because we like what it's doing. Like we like the opportunities that the NFT space brings to creators. At least for me and investors. It's also a chance for small time investors living in their mom's basements to make money. But then for creators, it's an opportunity to break free of the corporations and create something completely just on their own and get paid appropriately for doing that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, it's really cool to see. I'm just excited to see where it goes, and um, it's been fun watching too. Just the Derp Birds team just innovate the space, and I have so much respect for them because it's tough. They're a small
Yep.
team and they're doing stuff nobody's ever done before, and so it's also been good to see the community so understanding of that too. And it
Yeah.
it gives them space to really, I think, do things the right way. So I can
I
speak
think
for them for sure that they appreciate that so much.
if you're big into Cardano and Cardano NFTs, you kind of have to be a patient person.
Yeah,
We
right.
know the rate at which Cardano is built. Like we have to. Yeah, you're gonna find a lot of patient people and forgiving, understanding people because we have to be. We are very early in the development of this chain. But okay, I want to get into Pendulum.
Yeah, let's do it.
Like I had the discussion that I like to have, but a lot of people actually they want to hear about Pendulum. And first of all, okay, maybe one more question for me, then I'll stop
Sure.
being selfish.
Okay.
How, as you've been in development, like how have you not been a full-time artist if you can create something as awesome as this? Like that is actually blowing my mind, the fact that you haven't been a full-time artist this entire time. And on top of that,
Yeah.
like where does the concept come from, and what was the, like, I guess you touched on it a little bit, but how did you decide, like, oh, this is what I want to create?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I guess to answer your first question, I mean, I guess I saw art and illustration kind of how I saw that trip to Disney World for me as a kid. Like just artists struggle, right? That's the stigma, unless you're top of your game, very top, you're not going to get paid very much. And I didn't want that life for my family. And so I chased after what I felt like was a good compromise. Like doing design work is still very creative. Building websites I love too because it's another interesting aspect where you're writing code, you're using
Mm-hmm.
photography. You're doing a lot of different visual things, but um, I think a lot of it just had to do with like confidence and I think I finally had to get to a place where I was willing to kind of change my whole life to really pursue something that was just for me, and being a designer and building things, like working for clients, that's more of kind of like a, you're serving people, which I love, like I think that's a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
thing. But when you're serving people at the cost of your own happiness, then it kind of
Yeah.
becomes toxic.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened to me. I just, along the way, I didn't feel like creating anymore. I would get done with work and I would just want to play video games or something. I didn't feel like I had more energy in me, because it's a lot of energy to give away to build something. Anybody that's built anything knows that it takes a lot of energy, lots of focus, and so I just, for so long, I just didn't have the time and the space for that, or the energy to do it. So um, that's why that moment
Mm-hmm.
with my son was so profound. Just remembering what it felt like, because that's how I felt when I was little. I
Yeah.
would see a movie, I would get super inspired. First thing I'd do is I'd get home and I'd draw whatever I saw or whatever I felt like drawing because of that. So yeah, so that's the reason I think why I haven't done this for a super long time. Um,
But you've had those
but
skills. You developed those skills when you were younger, and you were able to kind of
oh yeah,
get back to that.
yeah, and I mean, it's not like I haven't drawn at all for
Yeah.
5 years. I would do a couple illustrations here and there, but it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like a regular thing to where, like,
Mm-hmm.
now with Pendulum, when I was doing that for 3 months straight, I was drawing every day pretty much for 5+ hours, minus the weekends. I'm very much aware of my time, and want to have a good balance for my family and my
Mm-hmm.
son. Um, but yeah, and so yeah, so Pendulum. I guess Pendulum kind of came from Dave and I were kind of spitballing some ideas. It started out as being like a super villains versus like heroes type of thing, and that felt just kind of a little corny. I don't know. It just kind of felt a little played out, and so
Okay.
um, eventually it kind of evolved into like, what if there was this event, or something happening within the world, and there's a couple of different races that, or a couple of different um, factions, I guess you could say, that adopted different strategies to adapt to that situation. So think of like a catastrophe happening, like I guess kind of what we're going through now. There's all kinds of hurricanes and natural
Mm-hmm.
disasters that seem to keep um, happening faster and faster, and they seem to be more and more catastrophic.
Yeah.
So the idea is, how do these two factions adapt to that, right? And so Order is going full on technology, right? Like they've integrated with, microchips and all this technology that's
Mm-hmm.
augmenting their bodies. They've kind of left their humanity, and they're
Yeah.
moving more towards the singularity. Chaos, what we're thinking is they're going to be more kind of nature based, right? They're going to
Okay.
go into nature. They're going to try and adapt with nature and have more of kind of a natural approach to it. And there's some ideas of maybe kind of like mixing the two. Like I've had an idea of maybe Chaos is going to take some of the Order's technology and blend it with kind of the natural world. There could be some interesting kind of half robotic, half natural type of things going on,
Hmm.
which I just think it'd be fun to explore those types of shapes and assets,
Where does the
But
name
yeah,
Pendulum come from? Like, how did you come up with that name?
I think it was kind of in the beginning where we were thinking of light and dark, kind of the swing going
Yeah.
back and forth, right? And I'm super into philosophy and like ancient history and all the esoteric stuff. Esoteric being kind of like hidden knowledge or mysterious knowledge, that does not mainstream at all. And so from my studies, it seems the Earth kind of goes through these different epochs where there'll be like these super advanced civilizations, like we have Egypt and whatnot, and then it was just everything gets wiped out. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
this ebb and flow. There's this pendulum of back and forth and light and dark and balance.
Okay.
Trying
Yeah, I
trying
can
to
see that.
find how you kind of adapt to those situations and survive. So that's kind of the
Cool.
elevator pitch.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Now about I guess, let's get to the degen questions. Maybe maybe some info on the drop. And what can you tell us about the upcoming drop? Like, would somebody who is maybe, hearing about the project for the first time right now, heard a little bit about kind of like the concept, but now they want to buy one. How can they do that?
Yeah, so I mean, our drop got pushed. It was supposed to be on Wednesday. The latest I've heard from the Derp team is that last week of March is when we'll be able to do it, and we'll have a specific date next week, early next week, hopefully, like Monday or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll be able to get the NFTs just through our website. We're not going to post any address. We don't want any like scammers or anything kind of nefarious going on there. So you'll connect to the wallet, your wallet through the website. We'll do all the transaction there. It'll be a great experience because I think, in my opinion, the Derp technology is the best with the multi-sig. So should be super smooth. But yeah, so like I said, we'll announce early next week when it'll be, and just I'm really grateful for everybody understanding about the delay, and yeah.
Okay. Yep. I just put the Discord link in the chat. So if you're not in their Discord, hop in there. Check out the FAQ section. So it's the order drop, right? It's 5,000 NFTs, and then there are going to be 5,000 of the chaos with the chaos drop, right? Which is going to be at some other time. 100 ADA. And yeah, 1 NFT per transaction. That's kind of like the rundown on those facts.
Right, yep. Those are all the good details that I missed.
Yeah, and no whitelist. Yeah, there's no whitelist. Somebody asked about that, right?
Yeah, I remember that correctly? No. We just wanted to keep things simple. I mean, a big part of that is it's a really small team. Really, it's just my wife and I. I mean, my wife is doing a lot of the community stuff. She's not super active in Discord, but she reads everything. She's kind of my eyes and ears. And then it's just our mods, which I love our mods. Shout out to all of them. And then there's the Derp team that are handling all the tech side of things. So yeah, so we're really small, and so having, I guess, too many things to manage in Discord, I think we just wanted to a little stay away from that, so we could just spend, I guess, a lot of valuable time with people in Discord and not feel like there was just too much to manage.
That makes sense to me. And I'm actually happy that you're not doing it. I have opinions on whitelist. Yes, they can be done well and they have their place, but I'm interested in seeing how this drop goes, because I feel like it's been a while since we've had some projects with good intentions trying not to have whitelists, but unfortunately they've ran into issues. So I'm still hoping to see a good project without a whitelist. I mean, Cornucopias, they're trying to do exactly that, right?
Yeah, and their first mint went flawlessly, and for whatever reason, this last mint, as I actually met up with Dave this morning, we had some coffee. It was great. And so he kind of gave me the rundown further of what happened. And then it wasn't really anything with the Derp minting technology. It was more of like a MongoDB server configuration. And so, Geek Derp is meeting with them to kind of sort things out. So I'm hoping everything goes smooth, on our drop. But, you never know what's going to happen. So even if it doesn't go well, we have some kind of backup plans. And the cool thing about this delay too is we're able to do the art contest. In our Discord. If you go into the art contest, it's incredible. There's so many talented artists in there doing some amazing things with just the templates I kind of gave them. So yeah, we're trying to make good use of our time and trying not to be too serious about this stuff. Like, it should just be fun. Like, we're collecting art, It'd be great if people were able to kind of make money on it, but really the people I want to hang out with are the ones that are just mostly into the art. So
yeah, I mean, definitely, if you're not already, jump into the Discord and just say hi, and be a part of the community. Yeah, I mean, some of the art pieces here are really cool, like
Yeah,
the
super
fan
rad.
art. Really cool.
Mhm.
Okay, but what's, after this drop, we already mentioned chaos,
Mhm.
but what? How do you see the future? Like, where is this project going to be in 4 months? Do you even know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just planning on chaos right now.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah. One
see.
step at a
We'll
time.
see. Right. Yeah, one step at a time because just the experience from doing the order art, I was just like heads down for months at a time. And so
Yeah.
I didn't even really know what was going on. I was just so focused, which I really love. It's really fun to have something to just pour everything into. Like it gives my day so much purpose when I have to get like a lot of things done, and it's all stuff that I really enjoy too. So really, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing drops and NFTs as long as it's really fun, and as long as I can continue collaborating with all these wonderful artists and engaging with our wonderful community. And I see huge things in the future for this.
Hmm.
So I'm just excited about that, and I think probably after the chaos, maybe there might be one more drop. We haven't really decided if we want to do that or not, but after that, I'll probably try something different, like a different style or a different
Hmm.
subject, just to keep things kind of fresh. And I want to explore things other than just the side profile, right?
Yeah, no, that makes
Um,
perfect sense. I think that is probably the way to go. Is you have that collection, and then you can basically take a step back and start the creative process again, which is going to lead to something else.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I guess the gold for me is like I get to grow as an artist, right? Like
yeah,
thinking about this process, it's unlike anything else that I've seen because as a creator, like as an NFT creator, you have to be like a marathon artist essentially. You have to be doing art over, weeks, months, and trying to keep everything looking cohesive. And you're going to have off days, and so your art's not going to be as great on those days, and so you have to like push yourself to try and keep everything at the same level of quality that you really desire. And so I love those aspects of this process. So I'm for sure hooked on NFTs for a while.
yeah, yeah. Welcome to the club. I mean, it's once you
Yeah,
get in, it's hard to get out. That's the danger of
totally.
it.
Yeah,
But we wouldn't. I mean, it's for a good reason. It's because we love it.
absolutely.
All right, you guys in the chat. Sorry, I've been slacking a little bit reading the chat. If you have any questions, drop them in there, and I'll try to catch them. Do you have Cosmo? Do you have the chat open? So if you see a question, feel free to jump in with
Mm.
with an answer anytime. But okay, so yeah, chaos. So what else is going on in the Discord? Like, what do you guys do there? There's the art contest. Just hanging
Yeah,
out.
I mean, it's pretty just it's laid back. I mean, just kind of hang out. Our mods are great. We just talk about the weirdest things. There's one guy in Discord, Bizzo. He's one of my favorites. I was telling him about in Denver we have this place. It's called Crumble Cookies. I don't know. Do you guys have those in Indiana?
Not that I know of.
Oh man, they're so good. Anyways, Bizzo he lives on the East Coast, and he he ordered some of these cookies because I was telling him about it from Utah. And so he's had 6 cookies that he paid like $30 for, shipped from Utah. It actually went to Memphis,
Oh my god.
Tennessee. He was showing me like the FedEx, transaction or whatever, watching it get shipped. And so like I don't know, a week or so later, he got his 6 cookies. It was just hilarious. So
That's some
that's the
dedication.
kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know, we just try to have fun. I don't want
Yeah.
things to be too serious. And
Oh, I like that.
um yeah, I think a lot of what we chat about is just art and um like sharing out the previews, which has been really hard for me to hold back. There's so many pieces I want to show, just because I love sharing it with everybody, but still holding out for the drop. So Yeah, and then the art contest right now has been really cool just to see what everybody comes up with. There's so many,
Definitely.
creative people, and so there's, I think, more plans for that type of stuff. But this is all still, pretty new to me. I haven't done any other NFT drops. This is my only art project, so still kind of learning the ropes. But I feel really comfortable. It's a really really fun space and really fun just to engage with the community and everything. So.
Yeah, and you've been taking your time, which is commendable. Like I like that you don't seem to be rushing anything, which is good to see. Crypto Kev,
Yeah.
how's it going?
Yeah,
Ask him if he's into some other projects. Yeah, that's a good question. Like, what do you do? Do you have any time to be CNFT degen? Admire some other projects.
A little bit. I just grabbed Earth Native CNFT that I really loved, and I love what they're doing with their project.
Yeah. I just heard from them this morning. I'm one of their big holders. So I'm going to get a custom one that I'm very excited about. Yeah.
Very cool.
So if you have any ideas of what I should do for a custom trait, that would be a good time.
Yeah, for sure. But like Havoc Worlds, I really love Havoc Worlds. Yeah, it's kind of like a similar project to us where it's like, there's an alien race versus human race and they're going to battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the art is just incredible. And they actually reached out to me on Twitter and we might do a collab, which would be really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because I was looking into another project. What was it called now? I think Pixelato. If you're in the chat, there was, oh my God, I'm completely blanking, but there was another project that linked to Havoc World Discord. So I got confused. Does that ring a bell? No?
No, I haven't really been perusing too many other projects. I've been kind of just focused on all of our stuff, but
just Monsters Club. Have you heard of that?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. I've been actually chatting with the artist, man. He's incredible designer. Yeah.
Why did they link to Havoc World? So that made me wonder if they were related somehow.
No, I thought you were just talking about Monstars, but you're saying Monstars had a link to Havoc World's Discord?
Yeah, I might just be making this all up. I'm trying to confirm it right now because that's what I thought. And yeah. Anyway, I like I was looking at the Monsters Club and I like what I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and of course, the Universe 25. I can't forget them. The tribute piece was super fun. And I love all the guys over there are super talented as well, even though we haven't really met, but I think some of them might be on the stream. So what's up?
Yeah, for sure. I've been a fan of that project for a while.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many. It seems like every day there's a new amazing NFT, and I think that's kind of part of the culture too. It's just like, what's next? What else can I get? What else can I collect? It's like it's so fitting for me, at least, because my boy is super into Pokemon right now, and so we're doing full on Pokemon cards all the time. Like he's just trying to trade me all the time.
Is that still happening? Is Pokemon still like creating things?
Yes. Yeah. Especially, you remember Pokemon Go, right?
Yeah.
Like their mobile game.
That's true.
I remember
at
one point that got so big, like I was just driving down the highway and there was a sign that was like, please don't play Pokemon Go while you're driving.
Oh my God.
It was a huge problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I'm at the park, like, and I just see like a group of adults just standing in the middle of nowhere, just on their phones, I know what they're doing.
Right. Yeah, I remember there was this thing too when it was at its height where there was some rare Pokemon that showed up in what was that, Central Park in New York at like 2 a.m. and there was like thousands of people in the park trying to catch this Pokemon, and it created like a problem, like logistically, from a safety perspective, just way too many people. Yeah, there's been some funny things with Pokemon Go, but anyways, it just made me think because a lot of the minting experience is kind of like open up like a little
Yeah,
booster
like a
pack,
pack.
right? You're like, oh, what am I gonna get? And it's that like dopamine hit. It's like, oh, I need to get it. So it's just been kind of funny going through that with my boy, and then also essentially creating NFTs that will be hopefully the same kind of amazing experience for other people on Mint Day. But yeah, it just made me think of that.
Yeah, it definitely is like a dopamine hit. It is something that I've thought about, and most of you guys that have are in the Viking squad, that I've been sober 9 years, and I've had gone through my journey with addiction. So I am particularly interested in that aspect of things, like how it triggers the reward system and kind of gets you hooked and addicted. So it is something to be aware of, like, are you minting because of an addiction, or is it just, are you just enjoying it in a moderate, to a moderate degree, which obviously is the goal.
Right, there's gonna be like an NFT anonymous or something.
Yeah,
like,
NFT anonymous. Maybe I'll be the first member there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like freeze your wallet so you can't get anything.
Yeah,
that'll be funny.
Hello, my name is CardanoThor, and I am a CNFT addict. Yeah.
Hi, Thor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right.
It's not a bad vice, though, right? Like collecting art, you're not going to hurt anybody with that, right? Well, maybe financially you might kind of hurt yourself, but
exactly. As long as you stay responsible with your money, don't be gambling in the sense that you're taking money you can't afford and hoping that you'll get something rare to sell. As long as you're not doing that, then you'll be fine. There are worse things. I'm addicted to coffee and NFTs, and I'm okay with it to a degree, because there are worse things.
Totally. Yeah. I had to switch to decaf because I was addicted as well. And I was addicted to the whole routine of it too, being like,
that's the biggest part.
Weighing out the beans, hand grinding them, getting the temperature right. Like it was a whole ritual. But now I just have an espresso machine and push a button.
Oh man, I need to do the same thing. It would save me a lot of time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's nice, especially you have kids too, right? You have a couple
of young ones.
That's right. Yeah, and time is so valuable when you're a parent, right? So having 30 minutes to make coffee, it just isn't super realistic anymore.
Nope. Exactly. Did we forget to talk about something? Is there something that we should touch on before we end the stream? Because I think I've gone through most of my questions.
I mean, I don't think so. I didn't really have any expectations for this. It was just fun to chat about art.
Yeah, same here.
Just thinking about like where we are. It's Friday. 3 p.m. where I'm at, and all we're doing is talking about art and stuff that we're interested in, and beats being in meetings and talking about insurance.
I know. Exactly. Like this definitely doesn't feel like work to me. So I'm really, really hoping I can stay in this space full time. Like that is the dream that I'm going after, and I hope you can do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe just a little bit to touch on that. So what I did, and me and my wife, what we did was we changed our lifestyle so that we didn't have any more debt, get rid of your debt, lower your expenses. And then I feel like you can just take a lot more risks that way, even with kids. Yeah. Like we have a 6-year-old, we still have to provide for him. But we figure out a way to where our expenses are low enough. We don't have any debt. And so like I get to do this stuff, I get to do NFTs.
Exactly.
Do that full time.
That's basically my strategy as well. Lucky enough to have no mortgage and no loan on a car or anything like that. And then you can take more of a risk because you don't have, those huge bills every month that you have to pay, or you lose your house, so that, exactly. I mean, and that is my ultimate goal, is to have financial freedom so I can just like spend more time with the family and spend more time on the things that I love doing.
Right. I think that's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If we didn't have to make money, I don't think anybody would really want to go to work unless they really enjoyed it. And if you're really enjoying your work, it's not work, right? Like that's what I've tried to make Pendulum. It's just I love making stuff, and I love that feeling, and I just want to stick with that feeling. So
Exactly. All right. Well, I really enjoyed. We ran out of time now. Before I say goodbye, guys, I'm gonna do the awkward self shill. Paste the link to my socials and all that. You know, thanks for following on this channel. Hit that follow button if you haven't already. Ah, man. There you go, Crypt. Thank you. I need to hire somebody to just shill myself instead of me, because it's always so awkward.
yeah,
You know what I mean.
no.
Please like me. Please like me.
Right, yeah. Accept me for who I am.
Yeah. No,
Cool.
that's also what I try to do, is just to kind of have an authentic conversation, just be myself. You guys know I'm weird. If you haven't figured that out already, yeah, you'll figure it out pretty
Man.
fast.
Dude, everybody's weird. If you don't think you're weird, you're probably weirder than everybody else. So
That's true.
It's all good. But
That's true.
yeah, man, dude, thank you so much for having me on. It's been such a pleasure. I'll hop on anytime. It's so much fun. So just really appreciate it.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do another stream for the next drop.
Yeah, or maybe after the drop when it goes super smooth, we can talk about how smooth it went, right?
Yeah, let's hope so.
Cool.
All right, man. Good luck with the drop, and thanks again for hopping on.